Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Secret Internet Gaming Podcast. I even said it wrong. Secret Gaming Internet Podcast. I am one of your hosts, James.
And I'm Andrew.
Hey, I'm Kaylor James, not to be confused with James.
I like how you pointed the side. Which, in Discord and in the actual video, I am neither to the side of you. No one's to that way. Here to talk about all the rundown and gaming and all sorts of other stuff that interests us. But first, let's start with everyone's week, even though we don't have much of weeks because we are still in lockdown. Take it away, Kaylor, since you went last. You start first.
Oh, no. Not very interesting. Still just like playing Ratchet and Clank as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. Working on podcast topics. Watching this news roll out for new consoles been pretty fun. Yeah, not a whole lot. So just like I said, mostly just playing Ratchet and Clank in the free time.
I was going to say, I like how it was so interesting. Geller immediately walked away. He's like, oh, cool, bye. Yeah, you were playing. Which Ratchet and Clank were you playing just a minute ago when we jumped in?
So I was playing A Crack in Time.
Okay.
On the PS3. This is the third one in the series chronologically, and well, the third one to have came out, but the second major release in the series.
That confuses me.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
I mean, there's like a PS2 series and there's a PS3 series, and
So those
while
are
they
technically
are
considered separate, kind of.
they're connected, but like the future series is its own thing, and that's what's on PS3.
Oh, like it completely takes place like in the future from the other games. I have no clue about the timeline of these games.
So like when they get into the future stuff, to keep it brief, they start messing with time, so then it becomes its own thing because while the past did happen, it's like the past becomes irrelevant type thing as these games roll out.
So it's Future Trunks timeline.
Yeah, more or less.
That's good.
So they're going to have different Future Trunks timelines and then different multiverses with this new one?
Actually,
that might be what they're opening up to, yeah, is like some more spin-offs, ways to do more with the IP. I could definitely see that.
Or possibly they go even farther in the future, and that's a Descendant.
Yeah.
But it's probably a different multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Multiverses are popping these years and days.
Yeah.
Also noticed you got your nice little hat on because the day that we were recording this is NFL kickoff. And I know you're very excited about your Dallas Cowboys this year.
Can't wait. Let's go. I don't appreciate all the Super Bowl predictions, but outside of that, I'm really hyped for the season.
Don't worry, at least your team gets those.
Hey man, it takes
they
get
them, but then everyone forgets their new head coach is Mike McCarthy. He ain't taking them anywhere. He ain't taking them anywhere.
You're just angry because you lost him.
We lost him 4 years too late. We should have kicked him to the curb a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, my team is one of the teams. So with the Falcons, I always get no respect, but when we do get respect, I say we don't deserve it anyway. So I kind of understand the worried about the Super Bowl hype. Also, I forgot to post this on Facebook so that all the boomers that follow me can watch along with us too. Anything else though, Kayla, that you'd like to add?
No, not really. Geller, tell us what's up.
Yeah, so this week I started playing a hot new release, the Marvel Avengers game, also known as The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction on the original Xbox.
Yep. I remember you showing us a picture of
yeah,
that.
It's actually a really fun game, and it raises the question, why haven't they made a new good Incredible Hulk game? It seems like such an easy thing to do, just a big guy that breaks stuff.
It's always been peculiar to me that Spider-Man gets several titles and Marvel doesn't really do a lot with anybody else. I know that's Sony's side, but like any character could have a spin-off and have a good game.
And the Hulk
and
seems
doesn't have
so
to
easy.
Be in VR. Yeah. Just smashing stuff up.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really fun beat 'em up, essentially. But yeah, that's kind of all I've been playing this week. Sarah started playing Paper Mario, the new one on Switch. Hearing some good things from her, so I'm excited for her to actually finish it.
The Origami Kang.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump into that. Hopefully soon. She's been no-lifing that game, so.
Yeah, I've heard like good things, but I heard it kind of can burn out a little bit early for a lot of people.
The fight, like the battle system, seems cool, but really repetitive after a couple hours of like, oh, cool, I know how to solve this puzzle, and it's just the same puzzle over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks cool. The music's real good, and of course the art style's super, super rad.
Yeah, I watched a lot of people play that when it first came out. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera or anything when I'm trying to tweet because I forgot to tweet this earlier because I fucked up my thing earlier. Yeah, it's one of those games where, like, I know everyone always talks about 1,000 Year Door, but I didn't really get to play that one too much. I played mostly the first Paper Mario, and really loved it. But I know, like, people were kind of bummed later on where Nintendo kind of started paying attention to the series again and kind of wanted to take hold of it. Though this one, at least, I guess it doesn't go back to a normal formula, but at least it, like, kind of switched it up in a new, fun way for most people. But I still want my traditional take turns RPG with basic combat stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the complaint I hear online that I kind of like I can resonate with, although I don't play those games, is that at a certain point they became about paper and not about like a fun story outside of that. It's just, hey, this game is paper, isn't that quirky and fun?
Yeah.
And so like I can kind of get why a diehard fan would be turned off after that point. But that said, some of the writing and some of the stuff I've seen in Origami King looks really fun, and I do need to like give that aspect of it a try. And I'm a big puzzle guy, so I could really see myself loving that combat.
Yeah. I think like what was it, Super Paper Mario, the one with on the Wii, I feel like is when it really became like kind of paper heavy, where they started exploring like, oh, you can just fold up. That's it. Wasn't there one where you could go sideways and it became like a vertical Paper Mario game? Like, you know how usually Paper Mario, it's like technically was like a lot of 2D not side scrolling, but it was like left to right. But I remember there was one where you turned sideways, now it became like a vertical level.
I think that is Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, I
because I remember like walking in gaps and stuff. I think that's the one I've played the most of.
Yeah, which still was fun. I played a little bit of it, but it didn't draw me like the first one did. So I think it's also.
I'm gonna say you're talking 64, right? When you say the first one.
Okay. Well, yes, because obviously my favorite similar vein game would be Mario RPG.
I was just making sure you weren't talking about that. Yeah.
So, like, as we started talking about it, I just started thinking more about Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo, and I was like, fuck, I love that game. I've done everything to do in that game multiple times, and I still love it.
Is that in your top 5 all time?
That is my all time.
There you go.
Yeah. It's my all time favorite video game. But what else? What else besides Avengers, Hulk, stars in the game?
Not much. Just fucking around with that PVM and realizing that's a money pit. So,
are you about to invest more money in stuff for it than the actual monitor itself?
Sure am.
Hell yeah.
I got the monitor for like $30, which is kind of a steal.
Mm-hmm.
I've already spent $10 in adapters, $10 in some Wii cords, and then looking at like other system component cables are a lot more than $10.
Yeah.
So
that's I mean, we talked about it a little bit before, but it just makes me think about like the Mario collection, right? That's coming out, and everyone's throwing a hoopla about the limited time release. And it's one of those things that's like, yeah, you know, this would be fine if I could easily go back and play it, but there's nothing really to go back and play it on that Nintendo still sells. And if you want to play it at like a high resolution, you want to play it on the GameCube, have fun getting those cables that cost more than the GameCube and the game combined. So,
yeah, I got the component cables for the Wii because my Wii is backwards compatible to try to avoid the $300 GameCube component cables. But I've quickly found out the original Xbox component cables are like $80-$90 as well. I just assumed those were cheap.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We'll talk about cheap Xboxes later, though. That's going to be a nice little conversation. What did I do? I need to start like writing a journal of what I do in my week, because I feel like I do stuff, and then I get here, I'm like, I just worked the whole time.
Just make little audio logs on your walk to and from work.
Yeah, I need to. But I just listen to podcasts the whole time. So yeah, I've been walking to work a lot, and my body loves and hates it. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm walking. It's not like a hard walk or anything like that. Losing a little bit of weight here and there. But the other day, I was like, all right, I'm gonna wake up early enough to walk to work, and then I'm gonna walk home from work. First off, the weather outside has been frightful lately here in Austin. It poured yesterday, and waited till I got like probably 15 minutes away from my house to start pouring on me. But so I walked to work, and so I woke up at 3 in the morning. Walked to work, left at 4 in the morning. It was cool because like I like walking through like usually busy areas when there's no cars on the street or anything like that. So that was pretty cool. But it was humid as hell because it's been raining. So I get to work, change clothes, start working, have day at work. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk home. It kind of been sprinkling that day, but nothing heavy. Gets a little bit worse as I'm getting home, to the point where like just torrential downpour. If you seen the picture on Instagram I put on Snapchat, like I walk along railroad tracks for some of it, which I do more for the scenic view of it, because there is a place I could walk instead that has like a much easier street to walk on, and technically probably a little bit faster. But I like walking along the railroad tracks because it looks cool. Big huge downside though is it's nothing but huge rocks all around it, which is horrible to walk on, especially because I pretty much walk in like shitty Vans type shoes, so there's no like support under my feet, so it's like I'm just pretty much walking on rocks. Then it just starts pouring, raining on me. I'm just like, oh man, this sucks. But luckily
Did you have that rain jacket?
I did. The Under Armour one I have.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I had to hang it up to just drip dry overnight because it was soaked. But yeah, then I got home, and my hip just hurt. I was like, all I did was walk, and my body just hurt so bad. So instead, I took an Uber to work this morning and just walked home today. It was nice today, though. No rain or anything like that, but it was really cold today. Like, for example, right now it's 63 degrees. In comparison,
cold.
Well, comparatively, because let's see, last week it was probably double that almost. So, yeah, big weather shift. I think, Kayla, I got all your cold weather that came down here.
Yeah, it's still pretty cold here. It is 57 out right now. Nice dreary day, but we're supposed to be up back to 80s and 90s next week.
It looks like Geller got offended and had to go look up his weather, because he's like, you little shitty bitches. What's the weather like that over in the VA?
It is 89 and humid.
Oh, well, yeah.
70% humidity.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's been pretty shitty weather. The worst part is, like, for example, today I wanted I work in a very cold office, which won't be working there in the office starting next week. Thank God I get to start working from home. But it's like cold as hell in there, even though it says it's like 70 degrees. I'm like, there's no way it's 70 degrees. It's like fucking 50 degrees in that office. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go on my break, go outside and warm up. Now it's still like 50 degrees outside. So, but
to be fair, we're sitting here complaining about the weather while the West Coast is looking
literally
like
on
Mars
fire
and on fire.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
All things considered, we got it pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, there's a lot of memes, obviously, like a whole bunch of, like, I saw one that was the image from the animated Mulan, where he's like, now all of China will know you're a failure, something like whatever it normally says, but it says now all the world will know it's a boy. I'm like, good God. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the planet's exploding. Who cares? It's revolting against us.
Rightfully so.
Other than that, I've been thinking about a lot of games I want to start playing. Like if I want to go back and play something or start something I just own and haven't played yet. Just because I'm like, I don't want to only play Dead by Daylight. Though I have been streaming that pretty much frequently after work when I get home, since I have a decently normal work schedule right now, which is fun. I've been teaching friend of the show Joel how to play because he's rather new. It's funny because like I play with 4 people usually. You got Kyle, Ron, myself, and Joel. So I guess it's 3 people. I'm a dumbass. Kyle knows what he's doing but gets angry. Joel doesn't know what he's doing but is willing to learn. And Ron's kind of in the middle. where I sometimes have to teach him stuff. I did have like I showed you guys that moment where I got super scared while playing with Kyle. That like I was like, I'll just stream this, and like got a perfect moment out of it where I almost shit myself. But yeah, other than that, my poster, my Conan poster that I showed you guys probably 2 weeks ago is finally shipped. So I'm excited to hang that up. Probably gonna do so like maybe right here because there's nothing right there. But then I'm worried my door might hit it. I don't know. Maybe right there. Depends on how small it is. Other than that, one more thing. So that I showed you, I think I wore it the other way. That pink hoodie I got that has this design on it.
You wore that last show, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. So I forgot to show. So it's from Mega 64, and they're kind of like very weird dudes. Like they're very comedic. For some reason, it came with a Marshawn Brooks NBA hoop scarf.
What?
For the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, I was like, that's something that I just definitely appreciate. Like when you open a package and there's just something that's not related to it at all in there. So I thought that was pretty funny. So I just forgot to share that with anybody, and I was like, I should tell people about that. But yeah, other than that, started making more food to take to work because I'm trying to eat somewhat healthy, but it pretty much always just is chicken, broccoli, and potatoes because, that's the easiest thing to make. But yeah.
How's the dating game going?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'll probably be able to tell you tomorrow. I don't know.
Okay.
As of today, I don't know.
Okay.
But it's one of those things with weird work schedules and sleep schedules for both of us. There's very little communication when we're not just directly hanging out. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. If not, next podcast, anyone who wants to hit me up and make out, I'll let you know by then. So we'll figure it out. But that said, we had a whole plethora of gaming news this week.
It was a real big week. Real big week.
Yeah. Is TGS still coming up? Did that happen yet?
That is
late.
the 26th
this month.
Jeez, and we still have TGS around. Okay, so
Are we officially going into the news?
I mean, yeah, we can hit the news.
Oh,
You'll do the news, but you won't do the
news.
intro. Okay, that's fair. All right. Yeah, so we got it leaked, and then they just said, "Fuck it, we'll just announce it then," which makes me think they purposely leaked it.
I don't know. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, came out and he's like, "Well, we were supposed to do this next week, but it leaked."
TGS isn't next week, right?
No, so they were going to do it the week before TGS.
A couple things about that. First off, they said don't expect anything at TGS originally.
Yeah.
That's weird to say don't expect anything at TGS. We're doing it before that. Second off, why wouldn't you just do it at TGS?
Well, because Tokyo is not a bit like the Japanese market for Xbox.
I mean, yeah, but like,
they still have an hour showcase. Without announcing the console there, Xbox is opening the show with an hour plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're gonna do something. Like they're not just because you don't have a big market there doesn't mean you're not gonna try to get one. It's just weird to me to show it when they did, or when they're planning to. But either way,
I think they were both planning next week, and Xbox got leaked, so they talked about it. I think we'll see Sony next week too.
I still stand by that Xbox wanted to drop this after Sony,
just to be like a big fuck you.
Yeah, and we can touch on why once we get to like the pricing and stuff.
But yeah, so we got a whole bunch of information out of the Xbox. We officially first off got the announcement of the Xbox Series S, which was not shown or anything until recently. Just all rumors.
Formerly known as Lockhart.
Yeah. And then the Xbox Series X followed, which was pretty much the next day, I believe, or was it just later that day?
So they basically it happened in the middle of the night, like Monday into Tuesday, I think, or Tuesday into Wednesday.
Yeah, it happened like when I went into work.
Yeah, so they leaked the S and the price. They confirmed the S and the price, and then that following day was just a huge news dump of like, here's everything.
Yeah.
And that everything seems pretty good for a change.
Feel free to run it down.
So yeah, without getting into everything, just quick hits on it. We got the price for the S, price for the X, specs on the S, official specs on the X, payment plans. Game Pass is now being rolled in, or EA Access is being rolled in with Game Pass.
Which is
we
huge.
got huge.
Yeah.
We got release dates. We got a lot.
Yeah, I will say, like, out of everything, the EA Play or whatever getting rolled into Game Pass was probably the most shocking thing to me. So I was like, I shit,
agree.
that's a huge buff for that already strong Game Pass.
Kaylor, the most anti-Game Pass person I know, even was like, oh man, that's a good deal.
Yeah, with it rolled into Ultimate and everything, how you complain with more games?
Yeah, it's hard to say no.
I mean, I roll through the Game Pass library, and 90% of it is stuff I own. I'll be honest, whether I own it on Steam through Humble Bundle, or I owned it already, or I own it physically. Like, I own everything I could want to play. But when you throw in EA, there's a lot of garbage in there that I would never spend my real money on, but it's probably pretty fun. Like last year's FIFA. Like, I'm gonna play last year's FIFA, but they can't have my money.
Let's also factor in not everyone owns as many games as Kaylor.
Yeah.
Well,
you're a common man.
As we discuss the Xbox stuff, it's like it's really not for me at all. Mm-hmm. Like they're doing very little to capture. I consider myself a traditional not gamer. I hate that fucking term, but like. Traditionally, I prefer the traditional medium of playing video games. Does that work?
Points at giant wall of games.
I'm a connoisseur of the medium that's known as video games, if you know what I'm saying.
That was excellent. I like that. I'm going to soundbite that. That's the first one on the board. So yeah, obviously, like, this next generation is less and less for me. So I'm eager to see what they say with backwards compatibility. Let's see a bigger rollout of that, hopefully.
And let's also say this. New consoles, I think, aren't for anyone who has a video game PC in the grand scheme of things these days. There's very few exclusives that'll make you buy a console at launch.
At launch, nothing.
Yeah, it's very much a thing where all of us, if we really want a game, we might get it at launch, but we're all probably going to wait a decent amount before we get a game that's really worth it. I mean, we might just get the console because that's us. But like, how many games are you like, oh, I gotta play that at fucking, like, when that game comes out? Like,
so I'm kind of dumb, and like, if Ratchet and Clank is day one, it's gonna be hard for me to go, oh, let me buy this. If Demon Souls is shortly after, if Demon Souls is like Q1, to me that's like, okay, well, I need this as soon as I can have one, because they're not gonna be obtainable. Mm-hmm. Whatever, that I think that puts the pressure on for me personally.
I'm gonna add something to the docket that I want to talk about real quick. But go ahead.
But the Xbox won't be having any of that. They don't have any games. So,
but even when they do have games, you have a PC that'll run it pretty comparably.
No, you're very right on that aspect. But I'm just saying, even with that, that I love the simplicity of turning on a box.
Well,
and
yeah.
I would buy a box if there was a game on that box.
Which is why if Halo was a launch game, I would have the Series X at launch. I could play the Halos on my PC, but I want it just there on my TV without fucking around with stuff.
So that's weird, because I'm kind of the opposite. Like, for me, because I'm always on my computer, I have two monitors, watch video on one, play games on other. This is my entertainment system. Turning on my Xbox and my TV seems like a chore. Because I only have the one screen on my TV. Where when I turn on my computer, I have two, and one can be video game, one can be movies or video. That's only one at a time. So that's the weird thing to me. Like, that's why I'm like, yeah, if Halo came out on Xbox and wasn't on PC same day, I'd get an Xbox. But if it's on PC same day, I'm gonna play on PC. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna plug in my controller and have the same experience. That said, let's. Did you already run through the prices and everything and the?
No. But just while we're talking about Halo, lining up the Xbox's launch, if Halo dropped with all this, that's a fucking launch.
Yes. Also want to
And
talk
it
about.
feels so empty without it.
I don't know
but-
if you said launch date, November 10th.
No, November 10th.
Yes. So close to my birthday.
Which is a Tuesday. I was expecting this for whatever reason to drop on a Friday.
That
Yeah.
might mean Sony is targeting a Friday.
Yeah.
Got some inside
Because then,
information.
then they're what, 4 days apart, not 7.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, November 10th, and the official prices, we get the S for $299, $300, and the X, the big boy, $499, $500. Seems like really across the board, in my mind, really good pricing on both.
Biggest thing I'm looking at right now, November 10th, would give them just over 2 weeks until Black Friday. There's no way those things are going to be in stock, right?
No fucking
For the
well,
no fucking way.
I don't know, just based on how trickle stock worked in the previous generation, like you're not going to see big inventories.
Nope.
But I think they'll continue to trickle through the holiday.
Especially with this year, how hard these manufacturing has been hit by COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. To be able to just to walk into a Best Buy and just buy it, no way. You might get lucky, but
They may hold stock back. We may see a situation
That's kind of
where
what
we
I'm
do.
thinking. Like hold it
We
in the
may see a
warehouse.
we may see a situation where it's like we're gonna have them on this day for this promotion with this whatever, because that's what Toys R Us would do. We would get SNES classics and NES classics, and we wouldn't sell them as we trickle got them. We would hold them until we had 40 or 50, and
Yeah.
then do another event.
the other thing, COVID still being a thing, even though half the country doesn't want to admit it.
No, it's not real.
Do retailers really truly want like swarms and swarms and swarms of people coming into their store?
I mean, Best Buy's not doing Black Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So like, wouldn't they just? It would make more sense from a safety perspective, I guess, just to like when you get stock in, throw it up online, let the bots eat, and then just keep doing that.
But you also do run into the issue where corporations value money over people's lives. So, there's that.
Yeah, as Micro Center has gladly told me over the phone for these fucking video cards, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, you also just have to think about the amount of money that they spend on the in-store real estate to promote these consoles. Like,
True.
You're not going to spend that much money to promote them to Jan and Joe consumer and then not put them in the store for them to eventually stumble upon. You know what I mean? Like, you
True.
want them to go to Best Buy every fucking week looking for these things. That's a part of it.
True.
I'm just thinking about mom and pop coming in looking for the Xbox Series X and buying the Xbox One X.
It's going to happen every single day.
It's the Wii
They
U.
couldn't have chose. Yeah.
But on the flip, I mean, like at a Best Buy type of thing, I don't know if it'll happen.
I just keep
because
Taylor an aneurysm talking about that.
like you remember the DS, new 3DS. I want a used new 3DS.
But at least that wasn't
That
too
was
much
dead.
of a... Yeah.
That was so far at the end of the life, it was
Yeah.
irrelevant.
And
the only people
they
who
weren't
cared
different-
were the people who...
Mhm.
I would say the only people who cared were the people who wanted to play fucking
Well, yeah.
Xenoblade,
Yeah.
and there were 4 of them.
And it's not like that was a different enough console generation.
No, it wasn't.
Like the Wii U and the Wii or this.
I personally haven't seen a Series X or
Xbox One
Jesus
X.
Christ, even I'm fucking it up. An Xbox One X in stores in months.
Well, they started clearancing them out. That was
Yeah.
the first thing to go at the beginning of the
Yeah.
clearance cycle for whatever reason. Were those Xbox One X's? I see
And
S's all the time.
Yeah, but because they're keeping that. That's in their product lineup.
Because they're
Where
going to be
does that price go to?
Probably I would guess like $199.
Yeah, 200.
And then
I
like
would
eventually
honestly-
6 months to a year from now, that becomes like the streaming box.
Speaking of, we have a scoreboard to talk about. Where Geller is at 2 points, I'm at 1 point, Kaler is at 0 on our predictions from 2 weeks ago on the prices of the Xbox Series systems. Geller hit both right on the head. I hit the Xbox Series X, and Kaler hit none. That said, we're at halftime. Would anyone like to reshape their predictions? Just a reminder, I said 500 and 450 for the PS5 with disc and no disc. Geller said 500 and 450 as well, so I'd have to change it to be able to beat him. And Kaler said kind of. He said 600. He said 500, but I realistically see 550.
Are you saying that because didn't you say like different sizes, or are you just throwing out two guesses to cover both bases?
Talking about for me, or
no, for
what are you
Kaler. Cheating the 500, 550.
First off, I didn't put this up. Kaler changed.
I didn't change that. I think if anything, it's 500.
Did you copy that from the Discord? I can't technically check because it would change the video.
I did.
Okay.
I did copy from the Discord.
So I think you said you could see 500, but realistically, it probably makes more sense at 550. I believe is what you said.
I think. So here's
I'll
the thing:
revise
is
mine right away.
Here's the thing: is they could have thrown. They could say, okay, we're taking another $100 loss. I don't know. I think after the Xbox stuff getting out, like these numbers, I think 6 and 5.
5 and 4.
I think it has to be 5 and 4. I think it almost has to be 5 and 4.
The question is, can they eat that loss?
I was gonna say that just seems like so much to eat for them. Like they were banking on saving $100 on taking out the disk drive and then only supplying those units. I guarantee it. Like,
but that disk drive's not $100.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's where they're gonna try to save money.
You're saving money because you're making the other one more expensive from $100 more, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were gonna eat the cost because it locks you in a digital ecosystem, so they're guaranteed 30% of everything.
Well, sure, but I think you can really tell that PlayStation is scared in their boots by the amount of accessories that are dropping with this system. Like, because they flashed them to us, and it's like a media remote, which never stick around. The headset, a whole new line of headsets coming out. The controller,
$100 controller. You wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be $80, $79.99, $84.99, something asinine, but it's gonna be up there. I don't know. I still want to. I almost think they're like 6 and 5. This is a beast. Our memory's better. They try to really upsell it with some blast processing talk, and then
coded with blast processing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They're like, if you can't afford it, here's one without a disk drive. Save $100.
I think they have to undercut the X.
Do you remember that time where they were like, hey, here's how you trade your games on PS4, and then they handed the game to the guy and that was a commercial? Well, they're just going to go, hey, guys, you want to play games that you can't play anywhere else? We'll buy it. That's it. That's the commercial.
Versus Xbox saying, hey, you want to play games? Play them fucking anywhere.
Right, and then they don't sell their box.
That was,
but
wasn't it John Boyce and fucking, what's the guy from Sony?
Yes.
Shuhei Yoshida? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Adam Boyce. I don't know what I might have said. Good friend of Dave Lang.
But all that
friend
to say,
of the pod,
I'm leaving.
Dave Lang.
I wish.
Friend of the pod.
I wish.
I'm leaving my prices. I'm going all or nothing for the tie.
Fuck.
5 and 4.
Damn it. That fucks me up. Kelly, you weren't supposed to go first. You're supposed to go. You don't pick first. You win the lead.
I'm number 1 seed. I get to do what I want.
Because I was going to go for 5 and 4. Oh, fuck. I'm going to go 6 and 4.
6 and 4? You think it's a $200 difference?
No.
He's going for the tie.
I have to get one or the other, though. I have to get one or the other. I don't think either of those. So both of those aren't going to be right.
But one of them is.
Yeah. So on the flip side,
I don't know how to do math.
Devil advocate on this. Does Sony say, we fucking kicked your ass so fucking hard last generation, we can set the price at whatever we want. We are the brand with the hype. Fuck you. You're paying the premium.
That's what I think.
6 and 550.
I think they're still in the console game.
They're gonna go
Xbox
600 for a less powerful machine. They're gonna go $100 more for a weaker console.
Yeah, but it's for the brand.
Dude, Xbox would shit all over them for that. The strongest system at the best price.
Keep in mind that Sony's 3 for 3. They beat Xbox every time around. At the end of the day, they won that generation.
360?
Yes.
If it's like worldwide sales.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
worldwide console sales. Like at the end of the day,
that's a whole different story.
Whoa! You can't say take out Japan.
We did it before. We'll do it again. There's your podcast. Yeah. Yeah, they you take out.
I don't know.
Because all right, so my way, obviously, this is my way of thinking, is fighting games. At Evo, whatever console they use is the one who won the generation. Street Fighter 4 during that generation was on 360. It doesn't matter where you're from, you played on 360. Last year, obviously, every console was PS5. And Xbox doesn't really count because it was their introduction. I mean, okay, Nintendo's the winner in that aspect.
Yeah.
No, take out Japan.
You can't do that. I don't think it would matter still, actually. But, Nintendo's a weird anomaly.
Because, I mean, the way I think this was supposed to play out was that PlayStation was going to come out 6 and 5, whatever it is. And then Microsoft sneaks in there 2 days later and like, hey, here's 5. And oh, by the way, $300, mic drop, Game Pass, goodbye.
I will say, as far as the S goes, I don't know if you have this in the docket. I did hear some kind of bummer things about it, like about the RAM, and it might have kind of issues with backwards compatibility and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't that's not a yes or no type thing, but okay.
I don't think that they would stun it with the hardware. Like,
it's
same.
It's
going to be a marginal difference.
Yeah, it's the same processor. It's just less RAM and a smaller GPU, but it's not targeting 4K, so it's totally fine. Like, it won't render at 4K. Which for what, 80% of the people that buy this box, that doesn't matter.
Oh, this is a weird way to look at it. Sorry. All right, so I'm looking at the stats for the Series S. A lot of common with the X series. It's blah, 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 blah. There's also 10 gigs of GDDR6 RAM with 8 gigs of blah, 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 and 2 is more. Okay. This is too much. Oh, okay. The Series S has less of a speedier RAM, 8 gigs, than Xbox One X, 9 rig. So the Xbox One X has a gig more of RAM than the Series S. So the top of the previous gen has a little bit more RAM than the bottom of the new gen.
It's a whole new CPU architecture and GPU architecture, so it funnels everything through quicker, so it doesn't have to stay in memory as long.
A lot less teraflops on that Series S versus the Series X. Looking at 12.15 to 4.
Yeah, there's your 1440p versus 4K.
Yeah. Internal storage, 512 gigs. Everyone's going to need a fucking thing anyway. It's weird to only go with that storage amount on an all-digital console.
That's what I said.
That NVMe memory's so fucking expensive.
Yeah, that's the biggest bummer about it. But
did you see the rumored hard drive prices for these fucking things?
Oh, it's like $220.
It's $220 for like a fucking terabyte.
But you can plug in a regular
shitty drive.
And lose all the performance.
Well, no, because you don't play the games off of it. You
bounce it around and blah 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 blah. But they're still trying to sling it. Like, they're still saying here it is. It's 220.
Well, if you want it, yeah. But you don't need it.
But what if you do need it but can't afford it?
Yeah, you fucking need it.
What do you need it for?
What if you need this Xbox and you can't afford it, though? That's where I was going.
Well, then they got you a payment plan.
What?
So you can walk into a Best Buy. And you're like, I only got I don't know, $25, maybe $35.
Would you like to apply for the Best Buy credit card? You shouldn't have walked into Best Buy.
No, but I don't want to do that.
Wait, can you walk into a Best Buy and do this? I don't even know how this works. I thought you had to go directly through Microsoft's website or some shit.
No. So this time around, they expanded. They did this for the One X, and it was only through Microsoft. You had to go to Microsoft.com or one of the 4 Microsoft stores that exist.
You used to have one here. It's still here. There's just nothing in it anymore.
Yeah. Just like their video game library.
Go on.
But they've expanded it to include Walmart, Best Buy, Target, GameStop, and Microsoft.
Major retailers.
Most major retailers. You'll be able to sign up for, I think they call it their Xbox All Access program. You get the Series S and 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $25 a month, or the Series X with 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $35 a month. And when you do the math on both of those, it's actually cheaper than buying both of those things outright.
So I have a couple questions because I haven't looked into this.
Yes.
How long are you paying that for?
2 years.
No interest. 2 years. Okay.
2 years, 0 interest. You own the box.
And all right, hold on, let me pull up some
It's-
rough math. So if I do
it's
$25
a little bit cheaper
for 24 months, that's
It's like $660,
$600 even.
$600. Yeah.
Versus buying the console for $300
plus 24 months of $15. I had this written out.
You
somewhere.
save $60. You were correct.
Yeah.
So that was the $660 you were getting. So yeah, as long as you make your payments on time, cheap little $25 a month, you'll save $60 financing it. So it makes more sense to finance it than it does to buy all the shit outright.
Yeah, and I think enough people are conditioned to the idea of walking in a retailer like that, getting a high dollar electronic item, and committing to the 1 year, 2 year payment plan. Because I mean, cell phones have been doing it for years.
Yeah. It's almost like Xbox is continuously pushing, or Microsoft's continuously pushing towards being a service than being a console developer.
So let's say this takes off. How expensive is the next Xbox?
Because now that they can just do $25 a month for 5
Yeah.
years, they know you're going to have it for the
Yeah.
whole console generation. Just, I mean, my bigger question is there another Xbox?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there a Mac Daddy where I'm like $50 a month?
Talking about like
I think so.
the Xbox Series XXX starring Vin Diesel.
Or hear me out. It's just an Xbox.
I thought you were gonna say Ice Cube. Well, that's the whole thing. It's like the Xbox One X can be abbreviated to Xbox.
Yeah. Well, I really think though just like the iPad, you get the iPad, then a year later you get the iPad, but it's a different iPad. I really think we're gonna start seeing incremental upgrades of the S and X, just moving forward, and it just changes.
I hate the names. So I just want to harp on this real quick. The Series X and Series S. First off, why would you pick letters that sound so much alike? Second off, why would you pick letters you used already in the last generation? And third, why the word series?
Yes.
So they can continue doing it in the future, because the next Xbox will be the Xbox Series S and Series X, just different guts.
Second gen.
S2, X2.
No, I don't even. I think it's just.
Well, like
Here's a new
colloquially
S and a
called
new
like
X.
second gen, like how iPods did.
Yeah.
I hate that. I'd rather if you're gonna do that, just drop the word series. The Xbox X and the Xbox S, similar to iPhone X, iPhone S, iPhone
Just
R.
drop the Xbox. Just the X. Just the S.
Now we're talking. Is this console shaped like an X or an S?
Both.
No, but it's fucking thick.
Give me
the
back.
X is
Give me back
huge.
that beta Xbox that they showed off forever ago with The Rock and Bill Gates that looked like a fucking giant X. But yeah, I mean, as we talked about, like $25 a month, you get a shit ton of video games. So you don't need to buy video games, more or less, if you can't afford it. Like you might you're gonna buy less games because you have Game Pass to keep you entertained for a lot of it. I'm talking obviously for the common man. You're buying less games, but you have more money in your pocket still.
And something that's overlooked about Game Pass is you get a discount on those games when you buy them.
So if you're like, oh fuck, I really like this game, and it's about to leave soon, let me snatch it up real quick.
Yeah. And same thing with the EA Play. If I want to get the new Madden, it's like $50 instead of $60.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, let me see if I actually like it first too.
Yeah.
So this is with the pricing system. If there's a decent backwards compatibility improvement from the Xbox One series, I'm all in on buying an X. I'll buy an X at $35 a month. That sounds dope. I'm all in on
what do
that.
you count as a backwards compatibility improvement?
Just a bigger library, more games.
Sure.
Out of the gate, say, okay, this is what was available. They stopped bringing games to the program more than a year ago now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, here's what we've been doing in that time. These are all of the games that are going to be backwards compatible on next gen. Day one, let's go. And then it's a double the fucking size of the list is now. Boy, I would be hyped. I'd be all in. That sounds like a great box to have.
I'm trying to think of where my question went with that. Yeah, it's one of those deals that we said it's hard to pass up. I especially like you have to consider with Game Pass and everything. They're also rolling out Project xCloud right around the corner.
Yep.
So if you have an Android phone and you're on your lunch break, let me just fucking play some Xbox.
That's already live.
Yeah.
That's rolled in already.
Yeah, but I haven't fucked with it yet.
It's not bad. I mean, it's playing on a phone, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously
It's
it's
not
like, I mean, the PS Vita did a similar thing with their on the go stuff, but now it's on your phone, which is a lot easier to keep in your pocket. But what? Good.
I was going to say those patents are popping up for the PS5, so we can talk about that in next week's show.
Yeah, I mean, I think playing games on your phone, especially if it's a console game, like even with a little lag, some games are perfectly sufficient for that. But you know, it would be hard to keep in your pocket the dummy units of the Xbox Series X.
that is a fucking unit.
Yeah, dude, absolute
It
unit.
is so fucking big. Actually, some YouTube subscription things I'm subscribed to popped up and like, hey, check out these videos. And I was like, okay, I'll look at this. Immediately went to my entertainment stand. I was like, where the fuck am I gonna put this thing?
It's a PC.
Yeah,
It's straight up. It's a PC tower. Like
Yep.
we said that from the beginning, but it's more evident than ever. Like, oh, that thing's a PC tower. Like that's what that is. 100%.
It's fucking big.
Yeah, and it makes sense. With the power they're trying to output out of it and stuff like that.
But then on the flip side,
the
that
S is so
Series S,
tiny.
that thing's real small.
Yeah, it's just a little box where half of it is ventilation.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I'll probably end up going towards the S if I get one, just because I won't turn it on too much, and I don't want to have that giant monster sitting in my room.
And you don't have a 4K TV anyway, right?
No.
Yeah,
my TV can't do 1440, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so like there's no point in getting the big one if you don't have a 4K.
Yeah. But yeah, something I did want to talk about, because we were talking about that console being a PC. You mentioned Demon Souls earlier, and I put this in the docket as we were talking about, just because I talked about it a little bit at work. I think it was at work, about how these Japanese companies, for some reason, just don't put their games on PC. They did with From did it with Dark Souls 1, but did they do it with any of the other ones? 2 or 3?
Put it on PC?
Yeah.
They're all on PC, all 3.
Really?
Yeah. So the thing with it is that Dark Souls 1 was so poorly optimized that there's a fan mod called DS Fix.
That's how I played it.
And yeah, to this day, Dark Souls is unplayable without DS Fix. And then, go ahead.
And so obviously Bloodborne and Demon Souls haven't come because they're Sony exclusives, as of still. But we've started to see exclusives come over from Sony, such as Becky Lynch vs. Robot Dinosaurs,
Horizon Zero Dawn,
and Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus. But I like how I put Demon Souls should come to PC. You said Bloodborne is. Have you got some secret intel, or I've just not been paying attention?
That's just the rumor that went along with Blue Point touching Demon Souls, is that they're also porting Bloodborne. So I think it's just something they're playing close to the chest, and this is something with FromSoft. This is something that could be at TGS. Like, quite honestly, we could see real Demon Souls stuff for the first time. We could see Bloodborne coming to PC. I think that's all in one big umbrella. There's been a lot of rumors that that PlayStation wants to bring more games to PC.
Yeah.
So I do think this is something that could be coming.
And I was going to say, the main reason that made me think about all of this is because I remember when they decided to this year bring Persona 4 Golden to PC, and it was like a top seller immediately. And they're like, oh, Atlas was like, oh, people want to play this? what?
Right.
It's like, yes, we want to play that
Right.
game that was only last playable in the best version on a fucking Vita. So yes, we would
That's
like
like
to play this.
yeah.
I mean,
And
same thing with Death Stranding and Horizon. Both of them immediately were bestsellers on Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an audience for it.
People speculate that Sony's building a launcher because they have enough exclusives.
not.
They have enough power. They just build their own launcher, maybe still available on Steam. I'd be okay with it, honestly, in that sense, because they are still very console heavy, very console focused. If they just put up a launcher with like a watered down version of the PSN store, I would probably be okay with that. Assuming it has all the features that PSN now has, because they have that infrastructure.
Or like, so I feel like that if you have a PSN store online on the computer, I feel like it'd be even easier to put games that your console would have trouble with backwards compatibility, but a PC could easily run, like the Metal Gear series, for example. If you want to,
I bet it's a licensing issue at some point too.
I would say that's more Konami than Sony, right?
Yeah,
but even
I imagine it would
even
be.
still, I feel like it's money. I mean, there's PC versions of some of those games. Like I played the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 2. That's the first way I played it. It didn't go well, but I did. So it's bizarre to me that more of these companies are like, hey, we have these files that we could easily resell and make money off of on PC, a new market essentially. They just choose not to. So I don't know. I'd like to see more of that stuff, but who knows if we will. Kaylor, not yet. We're getting there. We're getting there, Kaylor. Calm down.
Yeah, with that, like I want to see Bloodborne in 60 frames is like the big thing, because it's only 30 on the PS4, and you get that argument. It's like it's so cinematic and blah blah blah. It's a fucking video game.
Those people are wrong.
60 frames, motherfucker.
Didn't that fuck up the Dark Souls thing? I remember there being a glitch where the items degrade at twice the rate because of 60 frames.
Yeah, because everything was tied to the frame rate.
So that's the rumors that come out of this Blue Point port, is that it's going to be capped at 60 because anything over 60 breaks the fucking game.
Yeah.
So like maybe it was just not optimized at 60. You got a lot of spikes in a lot of heavy fights, and then they just capped it at 30 to keep it a smooth experience.
We're gonna go for a quick little wrap up. We have a couple games here. We can just do a quick yay or nay. Oh, that's what this game is. Okay, never mind. I actually want to add one game to it real quick that I want you to look up a trailer to that someone showed me. But so we'll start with Hyrule Warriors. Kayla wrote this docket, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where my mouse go? I accidentally deleted this. Sorry, one sec. So I am weirdly excited for Hyrule Warriors. The first one wasn't too bad. Obviously, it's a Musou game, but it's got that pretty paint of Breath of the Wild. It's not Breath of the Wild 2, which is good. We're still getting that. And it actually is a part of the story I'm kind of interested in. What happened long ago.
Yeah, the leading up, like the Guardian War and all that stuff. It seems really cool.
Yeah.
And that art style. I mean, you can make any game in that art style and I'll play it. Unless you're Ubisoft, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Which Ubisoft did announce a bunch of. Kayla, you said you're not in the Hyrule Warriors camp, I believe.
I'm really not. From what I've seen, it looks like they did a lot of good work to make the champions unique and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just a Warriors game. I'm not a big Zelda fan, so I'm on the skirts on this one already.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just happy it looks good. It's an interesting part. Like the first Hyrule Warriors didn't care much about the story stuff. It was kind of its own little whatever. At least this one has story elements that may or may not be important to everything. Yeah.
I think that might be why the first one sounds like a better time. The first one just has all this Zelda stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it has all this like fan service, all these characters. And then this one, they're just going to hyper focus in on Hyrule to make a buck. I mean, it's cool. It's whatever. I do think that this is setting up Zelda 35th anniversary, though. I think there's a good chance that this game was planned for early next year to kind of lead off the 35th anniversary. Mm-hmm. But it's done because Koei, however you say that, maybe they were just more efficient with their at home from work being a smaller production than Nintendo is as a whole. So maybe this game is done, ready to go. So they're like, let's just ship this out this year.
And they needed something for the end of this year.
Right, because
Anything.
November as a slot doesn't make a lot of sense. It feels like an October game, not a 4 days before Black Friday game.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I think it'll probably sell well because people are hungry to play some Zelda stuff, and that's something you got. Other game, we got Scotty PV the dub, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I almost said dub again. Finally coming out. My favorite tweet was Brian Lee O'Malley, creator Scott Pilgrim, saying, thank you to all who never shut up about this game. Never, ever, ever. Not even if I wanted to sleep. Thank you so much for making it happen. Yeah, this game got locked away on the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. People were begging for it for years. It's not like an amazing game, but it's a really good beat 'em up with an amazing soundtrack. Love Scott Pilgrim. Very excited to have this back. Only thing I'm kind of pissed about is I don't just get my game back. I have to buy it again. But
what does complete edition mean?
There's
Is there
DLC. There's DLC characters.
Okay,
Knives
cool.
Chow and I think someone else too. There's 2 DLC characters, and there was like a volleyball mini game and stuff. They added like a little bit of stuff. Not really that much, but as long as this game isn't $60, I'm okay with it.
I'm hoping for a physical release too.
Oh my God, yes. Give me some. Give me like an Anamanaguchi CD or something like that.
Yeah.
That soundtrack was so good.
Yep.
You put Immortal Phoenix on here, aka Ubisoft's Breath of the Wild, which I countered with something. But yeah, I watched the trailer because I forgot this is the game that just recently got renamed.
Yep.
What was it
Renamed
before?
and it Gods and Monsters.
That's
I
what
think.
it was. Yeah. The particle effects, the graphical effects are definitely Breath of the Wild.
The world looks Breath of the Wild.
It's very Breath of the Wild with like a little bit of different hub.
It's Breath of the Wild.
So here's my question: is that bad?
No,
but if I wanted to play that game, I'd go play Breath of the Wild.
But this is new.
I think that Horizon Zero Dawn, I've always made the parallel that Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild are like the same kind of ideas running parallel between 2 companies.
Yeah.
This feels like they just wanted to get in on that, but I'm not inherently upset by it because it looks different enough to be good. Because Horizon Zero Dawn was phenomenal. And like, if you're in the mood for one of these games, and this is right there, brand new just came out, why not try it out? Unless there's a bunch of towers on the map, and then 2 out of 10, we don't want it.
I could make the argument that Breath of the Wild was a more fleshed out Shadow of the Colossus. Just go beat the big monsters.
Sure. Yeah.
That said, I would say definitely pull up the trailer for the game. I also put in that someone at work told me about today, called Craftopia. Let me see if I can just pull up the trailer and send it to you guys, the specific one I saw. Because this game is Breath of the Wild with Monster Hunter, with like some Animal Crossing, with some Pokemon, with what else can I say? With some Factoria. This game is everything in a 2-minute trailer. I will put it into the docket real quick. You already pulled it up. Is that the same one I'm pulling up? Oh,
No.
Okay. What is this? Okay.
There's a lot going on in this.
Yeah, dude. So it starts off and it's like a deer and stuff. Some foxes. You see all these like people building a town. Then you see some like charging up a bow and arrow like Link. It is multiplayer.
There's dune buggies?
Yeah. She even has like the Zelda like heavy weapon swing. She throws a Pokeball at a giraffe and captures it. They clearly made the character who they show in the trailer look like Link because she's got blonde hair and like a blue tunic that's the same color. Fighting alligators. They have the same like flying animation. This game is very much a ripoff of a lot
Hang
of
on.
things.
I can make an assembly line of cows getting dumped into a pot?
Yeah, into a stew. Yeah. So
there's snowboarding?
Yeah, this game is I think early access on Steam right now for like $20. I just brought it because we were talking about Zelda ripoffs, and this is very much a Zelda ripoff. Yes, I'm thinking about getting it Friday.
I was gonna say, are you in on this?
I'm probably gonna get this. I get paid tomorrow, so. Yeah, this game looks. Into this game.
That looks pretty cool.
I'm pretty into this game. Lastly, just announced we got the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. I didn't get to take a look at the trailer. I'm assuming it's just Sands of Time.
It's Sands of Time with some more modern graphics.
So is it a remake or a up res, whatever you want to call it.
Knowing Ubisoft, it's probably just an up-res.
I'm looking at
Probably
this.
just a port.
The screenshots and stuff I saw looked fine, but they didn't blow me away. So I'm gonna guess just a remaster.
Most of this trailer just looks cinematic. I think they said something that comes with the original Prince of Persia as well, or something like that. I don't know. I know there's people who are excited for this, though. Prince of Persia kind of died, or that Assassin's Creed could be born. This game doesn't look great. I'm looking at this. And, boy, it looks like an Xbox 360 launch title.
Yep. I don't know. It doesn't look great. I was never into those games, but you know.
Well, I think that's a thumbs down from all of us around here. I assume since we all forgot to post anything about the email account, we don't have any emails to post about.
Let me check. We got nothing.
Okay, so
Oh no, we got some social emails. Some
How do I
people in
mute
Wichita
Geller?
shared some stuff.
the best part is people who watch the video, when I mouse over my Discord, all of our names pop up. So you've got Big Chicken, James Bush's Allen, and Geller the smelly bitch. But yeah, so we'll definitely try to make sure that I'm gonna probably try to do it a couple times this week. Put out the email account on our personal Twitter accounts to get people just send in some weird questions that we may be able to answer. Maybe even not at the end of the next podcast, but as its own podcast at some point.
Yeah, and preferably have them centered around fast food.
I talked a lot about fast food today at work.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for next time. Any last little words from you fellas?
Go boys.
Bet it all on the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, do that.
Let's go Lakers.
I got a 5-team parlay going, so let's win some money.